Oh, there's a... AJ's left the league.
Ooh, why?
AJ's left the league. Well, he quit from last week's race, didn't he? And he must have got sick of the...
I wasn't here last week,
Oh, yeah, he weren't, yeah. Yeah, he retired from the race, and obviously he's just left the league, I think, because he's been involved in quite a few incidents in the last few weeks. So that's why he's probably got sick of the game, taking a break. And so that Mercedes seat's vacant. Cam's now full-time Ferrari. Johansson is a new driver in Racing Point. Other than that, I can't see any changes otherwise than that. And Ace Noisy is in full-time AlphaTauri as well. So them are the main changes, I think, to that. And good evening to that one person that's probably now tuning in on my end, which will probably be me. Good evening to myself. Might take a bit of an impact on the viewing figures tonight with it being the finale of Pro Series. I hope, really hope Yano Opmia gets it, because he's the nicest guy. I hope he wins. And I'll send this link to Tom. I don't know why I'm going on Twitter to send a link to Tom. I can just send it in Discord. Goodness me.
I mean, promote your channel, but promote it.
Yeah, I might be on Division 4 comms tomorrow. Because Graham might not make it tomorrow. So, it's the case. Oh no, Dan's going to be doing Division 4 tomorrow. I'm going to be doing Division 5 tomorrow. I think that's how it works. So it'll be me Division 5 as lead comms, and then Dan for one night and one night only on Division 4 as lead comms, because he's my co-comms, so it makes more sense for him to go over than for me to depart Division 5 for a week and then go to Division 4.
Yeah.
I think I told the wrong thing on Tuesday and I said I was doing Division 4, but I'm not. But it should be not too bad at all. If Graham makes it, then it's me and Dan on Division 5. Easily. But... oh, who's got... FIFA men's goalkeeper Manuel Neuer. Jurgen Klopp got men's coach. Alisson in goal. Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Ramos, Davies. Kimmich, De Bruyne, Thiago, Messi, Lewandowski, Ronaldo. And Robert Lewandowski got person of the season. Men's player. Wow.
Yeah, you're talking about football. I don't care about football.
Oh, I was gonna just ask, when are the invites coming out? But I've literally just heard that on your end and on my end as well. Which is quite cool. But they're through, there we are. And there's another new driver, Missil. Another Dane has joined the fray. Give you an invite in. There we are. Volokongan. Vettel might be one to watch as well tonight. TTG Vettel had an absolute disastrous night last night in EML. But I'm hoping he'd be quicker here in Japan. I think he might be the one to watch.
I do like Japan.
Lovely track.
A lot of people don't really like it on the game. I'm like, it's such a good track though.
Yeah.
I mean, I get okay that sometimes it's difficult to overtake in Sector 1, and for a lot of Sector 2, like it's difficult to overtake, but it's just if you hook up that Sector 1, you feel like an absolute king.
Yeah. Tom, if you're tuning into my end of the stream, give us a thumbs up when you're ready to go with the sync thing.
He's added in the.
I think he's already ready for it. He's already ready.
Said, can't do it at 51, so we got
51.
just under 3 minutes.
51. Yeah, we'll do it then. So 3 minutes. Yeah, dead on. 3 minutes. Lovely jubbly. We've got a couple of new drivers tonight, Tom, as well. Missil and Johansson and Vettel as well, possibly joining up. So, yeah, we're nice and early tonight. Nice and early. We want to be on time. At least Mike's internet is working this week, I may add.
Yes, that is the biggest plus I've ever seen in my life.
It's the biggest plus ever that I've seen in your life as well.
Wow. Me finishing a race was the biggest plus you've ever seen in my life. I'm actually hurt.
You never know, I might be commentating on you on Saturday. Just think of that.
I don't think so.
Netherlands, Brazil, and another track that I'm doing that's escaped my attention. And then it's final 2 rounds of... I'm bringing it home. 24 hours of F1 we're on about, by the way, Tom, if you're just tuning in. That's on Saturday. Cannot wait. And I am...
I'm in the night, I am. I'm literally in the morning, early hours in the morning.
You're early in the morning. I am Saturday night, about 6 o'clock onwards for about 9. And then I am ending off the stream alongside Dan Hoggard as well.
Yeah, that's good. You're missing my races.
I am missing your races, which is terrible. I think they purposely put me in so I miss your races, honestly.
That's alright. You don't want to see my races. I'm literally commentating like. I'm commentating just before the one race I gotta do, so I don't have much practice before that one.
Yeah.
And then I'm commentating the next race before my next one.
I think currently as it stands, I'm doing, Netherlands from about 5:30, Brazil, and then Japan. So I'm even earlier than I was expecting. I was going to turn up at 6 o'clock. Goodness me. I'm going to be on from about 5. Oh, it means I'm going to have an early tea dinner type on weekend. I shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, so for me, I'm racing Australia.
Yeah.
I have a little break for Vietnam.
Mhm.
Commentating Silverstone.
Yeah.
Then racing Belgium. And then I'm commentating Mexico and racing Baku.
Wow. It's absolutely mad. Absolutely mad. Yeah, really good commentators as well, I think, this event. I think this event, honestly, in terms of commentary... Oh, it's 51, by the way, if you want to do that thing. But the commentary team this year, I think, is unbelievable for, like, a December edition of this.
Right, do you want to count in then?
Yeah, I've had to get you up on my screen because everyone's now filling in their cars. So you are right at the bottom, but I can see your name. That's all fine. Yep. Right, I'll count us in. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, you went so early there.
I went on go. It's probably that little half a second delay that comes through.
You went so early for me.
Just let us go if you. Just let us know if we need to do it again, Tom. Be much appreciated. Ryan's just joined in the lobby as well. Got 14 drivers in so far, which isn't too bad at all.
I mean, for me, Tom, now James was incredibly early compared to me.
See what he says.
He barely even got the G out for go before he readied up.
Division 2 is indeed live now. He's just posted the link up in the general chat. And yeah, we're good to go. So you can go back on the spectate, my friend.
Right.
Fantastic. Yeah, we've got it. Fantastic. Brilliant. I am all ready to go. Are you, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's get this started then. Good luck, everyone. Good luck, Tom. Hopefully you can keep up with the action out on track. Hopefully there's no late punctures as well, like last night. Or like Tuesday night, I should say, in Division 1. But with that being said, how traditional, 10 seconds. Good evening everyone and welcome along for the final time in F1 2022, or in 2020 I should say, to TTML. This is Division 2. This is round 9 of the championship as we take in the Japanese Grand Prix from the Suzuka International Circuit. Of course, my name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream, and joining me in the commentary box, he's got his penny in the meter to this week. It is Mr. Mike Edwards. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Finally, BT Open Reach, I've finished all the work that's been going on in my area, so I'm back on the internet once again.
Well, which is absolutely fantastic to see, and obviously you missed a treat last week, of course, in Singapore. A really good race indeed. Few driver changes that we'll line you up with as well before we get started. But to reflect on what happened last week, it was a McLaren 1-2. Mashiro went first. Matt Tibos ending that run of 6th places, four 6th place finishes to his name, finishing in 2nd last week in Singapore, and Sway finishing off in P3, and Mashiro taking, of course, the win. What does that do to the championship standings? Well, Mashiro leads on 187 points from Seb in 2nd on 147, and Twadema in 3rd on 144. Looking at the top 3, we were speaking about this earlier on, I'm sure Tom caught our conversation as well. We believe that Mashiro, barring any, with Seb and Twadema, if both of them DNF, and Mashiro wins out on track, Mashiro can win the championship here tonight, but only on that basis. How do you think he'll get on at his home track?
Everyone wants to win at their home track, and I'm sure Mashiro will be pushing extra hard to get not only a win here tonight, he'll probably be pushing for the hat-trick here, fastest lap and pole position as well.
Yeah, the Grand Slam could await him, of course, out on track. Looking through the rest of the standings as well, Jekyll in 4th on 117. Gary and Matt Tibos are tied for 5th on 115. Tionis in 7th on 107. Polakongan in 8th on 90 in 8th, with Sway in 9th on 88. And Alonso in 10th on 79 points. Looking down the second half of the standings as well, Ryan in 11th on 61, Corbury in 12th on 53, Trippy Jeff in 13th on 36, Nathan and James not making it here tonight due to work commitments, they're tied for 14th on 34, Cam is in 16th on 24, F1 AMG I should say is in 17th on 21, Levan is in 18th on 7, same with Ace Noisy who debuted last week, and Just Chris is a reserve and he's got 1 point to his name, currently out on the track. But constructor standings as well, McLaren leading on 302 points, with Alfa Romeo in 2nd on 256, and both teams have been a class above the rest, haven't they, Mike?
Yeah, the Alfa Romeos have been ever so consistent, and it's easy to see why that they're as high up as they are, both sitting 3rd and 4th in the driver standings. McLaren as well, Mashiro has been leading the major charge for the McLaren team, but Matt Tibos has been putting in some good performances over this season, and he's been contributing heavily to the McLaren points tally. Yeah,
just to run through the rest of the standings as well, it looks like we might be getting going very early indeed. Some driver is flashing themselves on my screen, certainly I can see. Renault in 3rd on 176, with Mercedes in 4th on 146, Williams in 5th on 143, Red Bull in 6th on 141, Haas in 7th on 126, Racing Point in 8th on 79, Ferrari in 9th on 54, and then AlphaTauri in 10th on 41 points. I thought we were getting going early. Everyone is beginning to ready up within the lobby, but what we will do is have a look at the track in question. 18 turns await these drivers out on track tonight at the only figure of 8 circuit in Japan, certainly on the F1 calendar, and maybe even certainly within the world as well. 27 laps awaiting these drivers. We have famous corner names through the Slithering Snake section, as I'll refer to it on Tuesday night, then through the Dunlop Curve, through the Degners, into the hairpin, through Spoon, on the run through 130R, and then into the Casio Triangle. All of them names you will become familiar with probably in the next hour and 15 minutes or so. But with this track only having one DRS zone as well, if you get stuck in a DRS train, certainly, and I'll come to you very quickly because I can see we're starting up, the DRS train, will it promote overtaking or not?
I mean, it can promote some overtaking into turn 1 if you get a good run out of the Casino triangle. However, following in the S section is very tricky. A lot of understeer there if you're following the car ahead.
A lot of understeer, possibly. Yeah, of course, downforce is going to be quite crucial, especially through the first and the third sectors. Out on track, if you want to try and get the flat run through 130R, it will be the case. Hopefully, I'm not going to completely mess up the introduction like I did last week. Tom was laughing at me from last week, but I'm sure we're not going to get that done. But now, it is time for that man to do his thing. It is now time for qualifying in Japan. Well, good evening everyone and welcome along to TTML Division 2. We are here for Season 2 in Japan, Round 9 of the Championship as we take in the Suzuka International Circuit, the only figure-of-8 circuit on the F1 calendar. 3 compounds of tyres available to the guys, the C2, C3 and C1 compound of tyres, the softs, mediums and the hards. Yes, I went back on myself there in terms of the tyre compounds. Of course, myself and Mike Edwards are going to be taking you through the action as always. And let's have a look at the track in question. This figure-of-8 circuit. 18 turns awaiting these guys out on track. 5.8 kilometres in length with the one DRS zone running down the start-finish straight into turn 1. Quite an undulating track as well. There are plenty of opportunities for overtaking, but if you get stuck in the 2 words, the DRS train out on track, then it could be quite crucial to see how those guys are certainly going to get on out on track. And we're now into qualifying. And the first thing to note, absolutely bone dry, sunshine, blue sky. That's exactly what we want to see.
Yes, absolutely. Qualifying around here is probably one of the most satisfying things about this track, because when you nail sector 1, it does feel fantastic.
And sector 1, yeah, certainly through the S section is where you can probably get it wrong, through sector 1. And also I would say coming through the Dunlop curve, I've seen drivers sometimes run out wide coming through the Dunlop curve, and we have to take a moment to reflect on what happened, of course, in 2014 with Jules Bianchi sadly losing his life a year later. Always going to be within our hearts and within our memories here, of course, in TTML and indeed in the wider F1 community. But it comes to show the trials and tribulations of Formula 1, there's always going to be that risk out there on track no matter what happens. And speaking of risk, if you didn't tune in to Tuesday night as well for TTML Division 1, then myself and Kieran McGinley absolutely lost ourselves in the final 3 laps of the race. 3 punctures in the last 4 laps of the race onto a set of hard compound tyres most guys were on as well. Could we see that again tonight perhaps, Mike?
I mean, it is certainly possible. These guys, as in Division 1, there's not really much tyre saving going on. There's always just pushing to keep those laps fast and consistent. There's no giving up on these tyres, so it is possible we could see a few punches as we got Volokongan about to start his first flying lap. He comes around the final corner, DRS wide open now on the run down into turn 1.
Yeah, yellow flags in sector 3, don't worry about those. All of the drivers just preparing up for their laps as now Volokongan comes through turn 2 and he enters what I like to call the slithering snake section now out on track. That will become 2 words that are synonymous now of my commentary around here in Japan. Through turn 5 and then through turn 6, of course, known as the Senna S's, as he now comes through Dunlop curve at turn 7 and on the run up towards the Degners at turns 8 and 9. Mashigo, by the way, leading the championship on 187 points. Volokongan 31 flat through the first sector, now through Degner 2. 7 second on 147 to Adema, and third on 144 if you are just tuning in to the stream now. Volokongan coming through the hairpin at the top of the hill, pretty much the highest point on the track as it sort of dips down. It's quite an undulating track here in Japan at Suzuka, and of course the only time that we didn't come to Suzuka in the modern day Formula 1 was when Fuji entered the frame in 2007 and 2008, when of course Suzuka was getting redone out in terms of the track layout and in terms of the new grandstand. Volokongan coming out of the spoon curve though very nicely indeed, and he'll be looking for a sub 110 middle sector here, and to 110.2 through the middle sector, now through 130R, and on the run towards the Casio Triangle, out on track through 16, 17, very, very close to committing a little bit of an invalid lap there, but Volakonga now towards the line. We're going to be in the 26s, I think, from Volakonga. Yeah, 26.5, not a bad lap at all, but that man in behind him, Ace Noisy, is just going quicker by a tenth, 26.4, and if it's anything to go by in qualifying from Division 1, as that man there, Mashiro, has now just gone quickest with a 25.8, it's going to be quite a close qualifying, I think. Don't be surprised if you see the whole field covered by about a second.
Yeah, absolutely, as Mashiro setting the early pace out the gate, just showing the fact that he really wants this Grand Slam at his own track.
Missile going second. Missile, one of our new drivers as well, filling in that Mercedes seat. AJ Bolloway leaving the league after Singapore. He's been caught up in quite a few incidents, I think it's safe to say, so that's why he has left the league and he's vacated that Mercedes seat, taken over by our new Dane Missile, who is on a down lap currently, as you can see, out on track. Also new drivers to report. Ace Noisy, who debuted last week. Really good positive debut in qualifying from him last week. Mike wasn't there, but it was a really good qualifying from him. We're going board with Seb, though, who I know is coming into the Casio Triangle now. Through turn 16, 17 and 18, looking to try and go ahead of Mashiro and take the fight to the Japanese man out on track. Does he take the fight here? No, but he's 2 tenths off. Not a bad lap from Seb. He goes ahead of his teammate by 2 tenths of a second. Mashiro on top by, well, look at that for symmetry out on track. Mashiro leads by 2 tenths of a second. Seb second, and he leads Missile by 2 tenths of a second. Nice symmetry going on there.
Yep, and exactly 4 tenths of a second separating Mashiro and Missile.
And Vettel on an outlap as well. He just came out the pits as well. Vettel, of course, being a brand new driver, of course, in Division 2. And if you saw his performance last night in EML for TTG Esports, and it wasn't really a great performance from him, but he'd be hoping on much cleaner terms and in the league racing field, certainly, they'll be hoping for a good result. He's filling in for the AlphaTauri tonight of TRT James. How do you think he'll get on?
I think he'll bounce back from last night's mishaps pretty well, I think.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so, because he got so unlucky, I think, in Canada. I just had to pause my screen slightly there, Tom, if you're wondering, because I had a little bit of a glitch on the bottom where it said was Ace Noisy was still quickest when he wasn't, so that's just been updated. Yellow flags in sector 2 and 3. I believe that might be Seb just coming into the pit lane through 130R, slowing down, might have run out of fuel. But we'll catch on board with Vettel, and I'm going to put Mr. Mike on the spot to commentate on the lap around here now in Japan. Nearly 7 minutes gone through qualifying, though. Mashiro out on top, Seb in second, Missile in third, and Mike, I will hand over to you to commentate over Vettel's lap.
Okay, so Vettel looking to get a clean run out of the Casio Triangle to really maximise the time gain on the run down to turn 1. DRS wide open as we look towards the 50-metre board. There's your turn in for turn 1, hitting the apex, lovely there as we go through 2 now into the S's of 3 and 4, but he just gets wide onto the grass there, very easily done. But as we go now towards the top of Dunlop curve, keeping away from that inside curb there, and now into the deck as he is up on his time. Well, actually he hasn't set a time yet. I just saw the purple flash up and I thought he was up. But as we come now to the hairpin, let's see what his traction is going to be like out here. Yellow flags in sector 2 and 3. Cowboy retires from the session. That's through turn 4, I think, out on track. Yes, and now Vettel on the run down to Spoon, and it looks like he has actually given up on this lap. He's in 0 ERS. He must have heard that I was commentating over him, or you were commentating over him, and that's why he's now pulled over to not set a lap time here. That, though, going past him is Cam, who is on a lap, and interestingly, he's on a set of soft compounded tyres. Ignore the graphic to the left-hand side, a 109.8 through the middle sector. Apologies, by the way, if I went on board with Cam, just to pick on board with him. Vettel, though, in 15th currently. Cam will be looking to go up the field here, around the final corner. He's got good qualifying pace, but then across the line he comes, and he goes second.
He goes second and breaks into the 25s. The second driver tonight to break into the 25s. Nice lap from Cam, and he goes second. But what I like to comment on about Cam, not Sam actually, Cam out on track. I think I'm mixing up his name, honestly. Mashiro is a tenth and a half clear of him. Cam always has good qualifying, but then never delivers it in the race. But he's second currently. How do you think he'll get on for the rest of the session? And can he improve on that lap time, most importantly?
Well, for Cam, I mean, as you said, he does always appear to have the qualifying pace, but kind of lacks a little bit when it comes to the race. However, Mashiro will probably be extremely happy that Cam is there in second, because he can be a bit of a bottleneck for Seb and the guys behind. So for Mashiro, I think he is going to be hoping that Cam can improve on his qualifying times to keep himself in second ahead of Seb.
Somebody that did not set a lap but has now is Swain. He's just gone fifth. I've just spotted him to the left hand side. 26.237, 6,000th of a second behind Miss Hill out on track. On board with F1 AMG, who is still on a valid lap. I think he's preparing for another run, possibly with his ERS deployment. He's got Vettel ahead of him out on track as he comes through the final couple of corners. Strippy Jeff now is retired from the session. That's at the same place as Callboy. As we ride on board with Sway, and there he is, just off to the left-hand side. So Trippy Jeff has gone off at the same point as Callboy did, through the S section, and P4 for him now. He's the second one to go off at turn 4, I should say.
Yes, interesting that this turn 4 that's causing the... I'm assuming it's probably turn 3 that's causing the issues, and they're just going off into the grass, but... It's weird that that's the area where we're seeing the retirements come from. I would have thought Dunlop Curve would have been a bigger culprit.
Mashiva's just improved. 25.659 now out on track. 2/10 improvement there from Mashiro, and he goes even quicker on his time. Just got the end of his lap out of the final corner when Mike was commentating there. Gary has gone second as well, and Zwadema also improved into the 25s, and now he's on a 25.9, about a 10th off Gary, which is not too bad at all. And of course, Excel... Oh, go on.
Matibos ended up into 9th here, improving.
Yeah, not a bad lap at all. Jekyll coming into the pits, and Jekyll, of course, one of the organisers, and I have to do a bit of a self-promotion here as well, for the 24 Hours of F1 event. It's an event that is, of course, going to be bringing the F1 community together in support of young people's mental health. And if you do want to get in support for that, follow the league on Twitter at 24F12019, I think, is the Twitter account on there. And I'm sure that can be promoted as we go along. Alonso, 27.9 on his lap time, and it's not improving as he runs wide coming through Spoon. 27.9 though, he's well off the pace, and he's been out qualified by his new teammate Johansson, the Dane, in the Racing Point in 15th.
Yeah, it's been a good showing from Johansson at the moment compared to Alonso, and looking at the guys yet to set a lap time, we got F1 AMG and XL Ryan, who we both know are capable of some big performances in qualifying. It's surprising that we haven't seen a valid lap from them yet.
Well, board with Ryan now, coming through Deck the 2, up the hill in towards the hairpin, famously where Kvyat went off, of course, in 2014 or 15. Ryan now through the hairpin, now through turn 10, and then on the run through turn 11. Of course, there are two different layouts, by the way, to this track. You might not think it, but they take that chicane that Ryan has just flown past on the motorsport circuit. Seb has gone second, yeah, 25.8. Literally spotted at the same time, I think, out on track. And he goes second, yeah, we saw him come across the line there. We'll keep on board with Ryan, though, as he now runs up the hill in towards 130R. This could be a good lap, I think, from Ryan. 110.1, he's looking to be in around Tionis, Matt Tibble sort of area, maybe, going between those two, as now he comes through the Casio Triangle out on track, through the final corner, and now Ryan onto the lap. He goes, or he's ending off the lap now, and he goes right in between both of them. It's 3,000 off Matt Tibbos, and that is a James Head prediction that's already gone right tonight.
Yeah, things you love to see. James predicting right.
Honestly, this week, if you go back on all of the streams we've had this week, I must have predicted about 3 or 4 times right this week. I will take that a lot. Follow Congan about to start lap. Do you want to commentate on him, Mike?
Yep, let me just jump on board with Volakongan, and here we go as he crosses the line to start his flying lap into turn 1. As previously said, the 50-meter board is your reference here for turning in. You're going to be braking about halfway around the corner there as we go through the S's of 3, 4, 5, 6, and now at the top of Dunlop curve, avoiding the inside curb, and now towards the Degnas. Degna 1, turn 8, and Degna 2, turn 9. Very easy to lose the back end on traction there through Degna 2 as we go now towards the hairpin, turn 11. Also another place where you can easily just wheel spin up the rears and just lose the back end. And now is the run towards Spoon, which is turn 13. 5th gear for the entry, down into 4th for the exit of Spoon, back up into 5th, using all the track possible. And now it's all about putting your foot to the floor as we go towards 130R. And at the moment, Volakongan over a 10th up on his time as we go to the Casio triangle, and looking to get a good run through the final corner, keeping it very tight to the inside there to minimise the distance and to the line, and it's going to be a 26.2, gets Volakongan up into the top 10.
Yeah, not a bad lap there, to be honest, from Volakongan. Goes 10th for TNL out on track. Sway 9th, 1100th of a second ahead of him out on track. Matt Tibos as well, about a 10th and a half down. Mashiro, though, has just started off on a lap, and we're right on board with him now with 3 minutes to go. The home crowd boy out on track. Can he do it here tonight as he flies through the yes section of turns 3, 4, 5, and then coming through turn 6 on the run up towards Dunlop curve? And famously 2003, remember, right, oh, he's very out of shape coming through the Dunlop curve. How he recovered that is absolutely beyond me, but it puts him only 1600ths down. I don't know how he's only 1600ths down after that slight loss, coming through Degna 2, and now on the run up the hill towards the hairpin, and he's backed off the lap. So Mashiro, I should say, is backed off the lap. Nearly said Volakongan there. Mashiro has backed out the lap, and I would imagine, has he got enough fuel to go for another run? Because he'll only get one more chance, I think. If he comes into the pit lane, that's game over.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if Mashiro fueled up for 2 flying laps, just in case. But right now, we do have Cam on a flying lap. He's over a 10th up. He's a 10th and a half up in sector 1. So this will put him about a 10th ahead of Seb if he can keep a hold of this time game. And now as he comes out the hairpin on the run down to Spoon, once again I see how the Scuderia copes with Spoon here as we go into the entry 5th gear, down into 4th, using all the track on the exit. Little bit of slipstream from the Haas, was that the Alpha Tauri ahead? Sorry, I thought it was a Haas for 2 seconds. But we go through 130R. Unfortunately for Cam, he's lost a bit of time in our middle sector. He's only 600ths of a second up. Would be enough to get him ahead of Zwadema as he comes through the final few corners to the line now. What's this going to be for Cam?
Ooh.
And he's found a bit of time in that final chicane there with the Casio triangle.
Yeah, it's not a bad time actually from him. He goes 3rd. I'm on board with Gary now, coming through the Dunlop curve. Runs wide slightly, but that was much flatter and much cleaner than what Mashiro did. And through the first sector, 30.8. He's a 10th up already. So Gary will be hoping to try and improve. Runs onto the grass, coming through Degna 2 there. But now on the run up towards the hairpin. Any improvements, by the way, we'll try and let you know of who's improving on the lap. I think Ace Noisy is going to be one of the next to come across the line. He's just started off on a lap as well. But Gary, on a lap, he is now running down towards Spoon curve, and he tries to get as much run as possible coming into this corner. 193 mile an hour I clocked him at coming into the braking zone, and then takes 4th gear, about 100 mile an hour coming out of Spoon, and now on the run up the hill. This has looked a really clean lap, if I've got to be honest, from the Irishman, as he now comes up the hill. What's it going to be in terms of the middle sector? He's 200ths down. He's actually lost time through the middle sector, so don't judge a book by its cover, I think, with that middle sector that you've just seen, as now Gary's F1MG is retired coming out of Degna 2. I think he's retired that out on track, and Gary ran the final corner, comes across across the line, and he goes second. He found a little bit more time in that final sector, but it seems to me everyone is trying to find their times in the final sectors. Wadema is on a lap. We've got Ace Noisy on a lap as well. Wadema's just in behind. Go on.
Vettel to the line now. He's a tenth and a half up in his time, and he just missed out on the top 10 there with a 26.2, and then I believe we've got Nathan coming in behind.
Yeah, Nathan coming around the final corner. We'll see what his lap time is. I'm on board with Ace Noisy at the minute. I don't think Nathan improved, in fact, on that lap time. Ryan goes fifth, 25.9. Good lap time from him. Ace Noisy, I think he'll go ahead of him. No, he improved, but he doesn't improve enough to jump up a position. Missile now around the final corner, out on track. We've got Cam towards the line as well. Missile across the line, has invalidated, doesn't improve. J. Cole doesn't improve either. Matt Tibos is down, he's invalidated on his lap time, 4/10 improvement. That would have been Johansson has done. It's only Seb, I think, that's on the lap, and he's 300th up. Seb trying to respond to Gary and to Mashiro across the line, and he goes second. 700th improvement in the final sector, and he's a 10th of a second off Mashiro, but it is that man there who you can't see out on track because he's not out on track at all. Mashiro gets 2 points to his name, and that's now 189 points, if I'm not mistaken, out on track for him in the live standings. Seb second, Gary in third. Pretty much a basic top three, but look at the gaps. The top 15 separated by just over 7/10 of a second.
Yeah, it's incredibly close there, and we got to assume that if Trippy Jeff, F1 AMG and Cowboy were able to get a lap on the board, that they would have been in the mix as well. So we could be looking at a much closer grid than what we see towards the bottom end at the moment.
I think it comes to oh, go on.
Go on.
I was going to say, I think it comes to show the trials and tribulations, I think, of the circuit, because Trippy Jeff actually lost it on through turn 4. Callboy did as well. F1 AMG, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, lost it coming out of Dector 2, and he's probably tried to fight the car up the hill, and he's gone screaming into the wall, probably on the right-hand side. If he's tried to recover the car, he'd be going left, right, left, and then it turns right, and then he's out the session. Simple as that. Mashiro, though, out on top from Seb in second, Gary in third. We are just waiting now on Johansson to retire. Spot on time. Mashiro out on top by 900ths of a second from Seb in second. Gary in third with Cam in fourth. Top four separated by less than 2/10 of a second. Look at how close it is though in behind. Ryan, Tionis, Wadema and Ace Noisy all separated by 500ths of a second. Out on track for 5th down to 8th. Missile on his debut in 9th with Nathan in 10th. J. Cole 11th. Sway in 12th. Volakongan in 13th. Vettel in 14th. Really good qualifying despite him being 6/10 off the pace. Matt Tibos in 15th, Johansson in 16th, Alonso 17th, and Trippy Jeff, F1 AMG and Callboy not getting a respectable time on the board because they crashed out the session. And looking actually with Mashiro, him and Seb, top 2 in the standings, top 2 positions out on track. Zwadema, who's in 3rd and 3 points behind Seb coming into tonight, he's all the way down in 7th.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night for Swadema as he's going to try to make his way up through the order, but there's a lot of fierce competition ahead of him.
A lot of fierce competition. I think Division 2 is known for competition. I think this could be potentially a race of the season candidate, perhaps, with what happened in Division 1. Who knows? Who knows what can happen? Let's have a review then of what the track looks like. The only figure of 8 circuit on the F1 calendar, and 27 laps now waiting these drivers out on track. Bone dry to start off with. It wasn't like this though towards the end of the race near in Japan, but 5.8 kilometres in length, 156.7 kilometres race distance as well, and we are now waiting for the guys to ready up. And as we alluded to just before qualifying started, that one DRS zone is really the only opportunity, I think, to try and get any sort of overtake done. Now, 130R is quite plausible, Casio Triangle is quite plausible as well, but turn 1, how crucial is it to try and get a move done down into turn 1, especially if you're the car chasing the car in front?
Getting the move done into the turn 1, or getting a side-by-side along enough so you can make the move into turn 2 is going to be crucial, because you really don't want to be the guy stuck behind the car ahead in sector 1, because as I alluded to earlier, the understeer through there can be desperado to your chances of getting close enough to go for a move at another possible overtaking opportunity at the hairpin turn 11. And yes, you just don't want to be the car stuck behind.
You do not want to be the car stuck behind, and you've got to imagine as well, if it's like a 6, 7, 8 car train as well, that DRS train is only going to get longer and longer, and the more opportunity the guy in front of that DRS train gets to try and pull away, the lack of overtaking there will be, because if he doesn't try and get the overtake done, the second person in this DRS train, it will prove quite crucial towards the end. We saw a little bit of a graphic pop up at the start of this formation lap, and it's quite interesting to read because Mashiro looks like he's going to go maybe one stop, lap 9 to 10 on a set of hard compounded tyres. Now in Division 1, we had an early safety car out on track, and looking down the field as well in terms of tyre strategy, Bolokongan and F1 AMG on a set of softs, everyone else on a set of mediums. But we had an early safety car in Division 1 where it was deployed on lap 2. Some drivers decided to come in around lap 5 for tyres, and I think that was when the safety car was nearing its end point. How crucial is it, as Matt Tibos has actually left the session out on track? Hopefully we can get him back in, but how crucial is it as we come towards the end of the formation lap to try and get a really good... you know what, I'm just going off on a complete and utter tangent, aren't I?
I mean,
brain freeze.
I was trying to follow. Brain
freeze.
I was trying to pick up what you was putting down, but
so yeah, early safety car. I think it could be quite crucial to see how this race is going to go, because there was 3 punctures in the last 4 laps in Division 1. Quickly, Mike, before we begin, who's your top 3?
I'm gonna go with Mashiro for the win, Seb second, and I'm gonna go for. Sure, I'm gonna go for a Noisy on the podium.
It's Noisy from 8th position on the grid. I'm glad you didn't want to go for Gary for the top 3. We see you on board with the standings though, and now the 5 red lights are going out for round 9 of the championship here in Japan. And it's lights out and away we go. Mashiro gets a good start. I think Seb has got a better start than him though. Matt Tibos rejoins the session. Be careful if you're around him. There's a yellow flag in sector 3 because of that. But Mashiro will lead through turn 1, and Cam all the way around the outside of Seb. Seb is back up the inside coming through turn 2. They nearly make contact. That Ferrari looks very unstable as now Cam has got P2 from Seb. Really good, and there's a whole ton of carnage in the background. Missile has been caught up in Ninson. Tionis as well, and I think Cowboy was caught up in that as well, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Cowboy, I don't think was caught up in it, but I was on board and I saw it happen.
What happened out on track? Because I saw that in the background when running on board with the leaders. Safety car.
Believe there was 2x2 going through the S's, and I believe Tijonas might have just got a little bit out of shape, a little bit late on the brakes, and just a little bit of contact between him and Mussolini, and they both got dragged off track and into the wall.
I'm not sure if Tionis actually retired out on track or if he made contact with the wall. It was difficult to see with with everything going on. But what I can say, that early safety car out on track has now been deployed, and on lap 1, let's just reflect on the lack of overtaking that we've probably seen out on track. There were the position gains early on. In fact, Matt Tibos has lost 3 positions because of his lag start, of course. Missile down 10 positions. Tionis, of course, out the race. Everyone else, though, Trippy Jeff, big gainer there in 13th position out on track. And have you got a glitch, by the way? As Cam is into the pit lane from 2nd, have you got a bit of a glitch where you can't select any drivers on the right-hand side?
Yes, I have that glitch. I've clicked on the driver select and it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, everyone into the pit lane in behind as well. Volakongan in, Trippy Jeff is in, and that's the man I was trying to find. Trippy Jeff, he's coming in onto a set. Oh, and he's going to be held up in the pit lane because his teammate has came in front. It's absolutely disastrous. And Trippy Jeff is going to be held up at least 15 seconds in the pit lane here. The mechanics are ready for him, luckily, but it's not like, I think it was Seb last night in League 1 of EML, where he got held up in the pit lane. And it's an absolute disaster. Trippy Jeff now all the way down to the back. Missile got caught up in that incident, and he's still come out in front of him.
Yeah, and hopefully, you guys would have been able to see what happened in that incident with the replays. I was on board with it. I can't remember who made the contact, but it was 2x2 for the S's, so I might have been mistaken when I said Dijonas might have just gone a little bit too deep into the corner and made contact.
Two
might
by
have been
two.
mistaken.
Yeah, 2x2 through the S section is hard at the best of times. Never mind trying to go on the first lap of the race 2x2. You should never do that. If you are an F1 racer, we're a commentary team. I know Mike is going to be racing in the 24 hours of F1 on Saturday, but at heart, we are commentators and we can try and provide the action as much as possible. But out on track, Tiana's out, Missile got caught up in that incident. Trippy Jeff also into the pit lane, held up in the pits. We should have the safety car out for another lap or so. And what I am going to do at this point, Mr. Mike Edwards, is leave you because we've got the safety car out. I've said to Tom that I'm going to have to go downstairs slightly to try and turn off a computer, which I will. Predicted pit stop strategy has just came up for Mashiro, by the way, and that is lap 9 to 10, so it hasn't changed. Lap 7 to 10, lap 16 to 18, on for 2-stop strategy, and nobody coming into the pit lane, I don't think, in behind Mashiro, but we'll ride on board with the leader, and it might be the case where I or you will have to take the start as Trippy Jeff is back into the pit lane.
Yep,
Trippy Jeff.
Yeah, Trippy Jeff back into the pit lane, and what this safety car actually does is brings out the possibility of extending these soft tyres an extra lap or two to possibly think about a soft to medium strategy. That's one thing that could come into play as we see Mashiro, Seb, Gary, Ryan's Redeemer, Noisy, Nathan all sticking it out there on the sauce, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see them trying to extend these sauce an extra lap or two to go to the medium compound tyres. Of course, safety car out for another lap as we got Trippy Jeff rejoining now as he's going to try and catch up to the back of the pack. We should have the safety car in at the end of this lap, and now all we have to do is wait for the signal. Hopefully these guys can keep their tyre temps nice and toasty because you don't want to be restarting on cold tyres. Make sure you get the heat into them efficiently. And for Seb, this is a big opportunity now to try and get a good launch on this restart now, to stick close to Mashiro, to put him under pressure as they go on the run into turn 1. Last thing Seb wants to do is bog down slightly on the restart and be under pressure from the two Renaults behind of XL Gary and XL Ryan. As we filter through Spoon now, we should be getting the message saying the safety car is coming in. And there we go, safety car in this lap. And now Mashiro is the man that sets the pace as we wait for the moment when Mashiro is going to go. For Scuderia Seb, he needs to keep as close as possible. We go through the Casino Triangle. When Seb gonna go? He's gonna go now. And we are back under green flag conditions and racing once again. It looks like the Renaults have actually had the worst start here. So it looks like Ryan's actually going to put his teammate Gary under pressure. Had a little peek at the inside, but didn't want to risk it as we filter through. As we got Ryan actually side by side with his teammate now. As it looks like Gary there backing out Ryan through and up into third place there. As they were side by side going into turn 3. Very clean restart so far. Looks like Volakongan has lost a bit of time to Cam for P14 as we got Alonso and F1A and G switching positions as looks like Mashiro starting to stretch his legs a little bit. He's got the gap out to 7 point. He's got the gap out to 8 tenths of a second now. As we run to Spoon once again. Scuderia Seb trying to chase after Mashiro for the race lead. As Redeemer trying to close up to Gary for 4th place. He may be close enough to have a little look into the casino triangle, so we'll stick on board with Redeemer to see if he does have a little peek down the inside. He's going to stick behind for the time being, but a good run with the final corner as Cam picks up the first 3-second time penalty of the race. Looks like everyone is going to be keeping single file now as we run onto lap 5 of 27. We've got Ace trying to close up to the back as Redeemer, and this is what I was talking about earlier. I mean, Ace Noisy was a little bit further off the back, but because Redeemer's in that dirty air, we got a yellow flag, and Trippy Jeff's out. Trippy Jeff has lost it. And it looks like he might have lost it on the curb at turn 3 at the start of the SS and gone off straight into the wall, and that's a second safety car now in 5 laps. I believe that is what has happened there. He's got onto the curb at turn 3, lost the back end and gone off into the wall on the left hand side of turn 4. So once again, lap 5, we're under safety car conditions again. And for these guys on the sauce, it's a big decision that they have to make now. Do they pit for the hards, or do they try and keep out on these softs, or do they possibly think about a different strategy? I'm sure we'll be getting James back in the booth very soon, and it'll be a surprise to see that there is another safety car. But here we go to see what our race leader is going to do. He's going to peel off into the pits. Yes, he is. He's into the pits. So Seb, Ryan's in as well. Gary is going to continue on. Didn't want to double stack with his teammate, so Gary there, he's sticking it out. And Volokongan picks up a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags, and interesting strategies going on there. Ryan with opting for the mediums, as does Redeemer, so the 2 XL lads, the one in the Renault and the other in the Alfa Romeo, opting for a different strategy to the guys around them. And you've got to think that these guys early on are going to be putting the likes of Seb, Mashiro, Nathan and Noisy, as well as the guys ahead like Alonso and Messi, F1 AMG, Volokongan. Got to think that they're going to be putting these guys under pressure pretty soon. But for Gary now, he has to commit to this, what I'm assuming now will be a soft to medium strategy. As I believe we got our commentator James back in the booth, and a second safety car here, James.
What on earth have I missed?
It should be Jeff lost it through turn 3 and has gone off into the wall on the left hand side of turn 4. Same place where we saw people crashing out in qualifying.
Same place where he went off in qualifying, I think, as well, if I'm not mistaken, because he was one of the ones that lost it, of course, through turn 4, and that is why. So now Gary leads us under the safety car, but everyone has gone, well, some of them have gone onto a set of hard compound of tyres, and you know what I like to say now about the hard compound of tyres. From this point onwards, 21 laps is pretty much the prime you can probably get to without over managing the tyres and getting a puncture out on track. Those guys towards the end of the race are going to be in what I like to call puncture territory. Because of Division 1, you have to be very key to see who is going to be on top. We're right on board with Gary though, lap 7 out of 27 if you are just tuning in. If you are out of breath like me, Gary out on top from J. Cole in second. Gary, interestingly, looks like he's carrying on this soft stint soon, more into this race compared to the guys behind, because all of the guys behind haven't pitted apart from Cam all the way down.
Yeah, so what happened on the restart, we had Ryan making the move on his teammate, getting himself up into third, and Gary did not want the double stack with his teammate, so he stayed out on the set of the softs. And now the only strategy that I think makes sense with Gary is the softs and the mediums.
Yeah, softs to mediums I think certainly could work, but it depends when he's going to be coming into the pit lane out on track. Division 3, by the way, there's been a few issues about the Division 3 stream. Now, I'm sure this is back up by now that I'm reading this, but Aiden and Dan have both had issues, apparently, setting up the Division 3 stream. I can't see it live on the channel, so we apologise about that. Hopefully it can get streamed, but YouTube liking to cause a few issues, I think, in terms of that. Division 2, though, is live for us, and that's why so many cars are still out on track. Safety car off. Maze is trying to trend in the YouTube comment section, but plenty of support for Gary, who is the man I'm on board with. He is on pole. Well, he's in the lead of the race, currently out on track. Jake Hall second, Sway in third. If I was to push myself for top 3 from this stage in the race, I would be looking towards maybe Volakongan, to be honest. He's on a set of hard compound of tyres. He could go on a set of softs towards the end. Safety car, I think, will be into the pits this lap around. But Volakongan, who has got a penalty to his name, 5 seconds worth, I think he sped into the pit lane. Cam has got 3 seconds. Yeah, safety car is in this lap, though. And Cam, yeah, 3 seconds time penalty as well, just in behind. If Gary keeps this consistent pace, he will let the safety car go as far as possible and not let the pack get on the back of him. But that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to unsettle the cars in behind, maybe pick up a 5-second time penalty here and there. But now Gary out of the Casio triangle is about to say go in that Renault, and he absolutely flies away from Jake Hall off the start. 6/10 of a second already gained, and Gary comes across the line, uses up the overtake mode for good effect, and we're back in the way, nearly a third of the way through. Callboy right on the back of Johansson, and Cam right on the back of Matt Tibbles running down in towards turn 1, and Ryan's right on the back of Seb. Has got a tremendous start, now running down in towards turn 1. Ryan around the outside gets the job done on Seb. Brilliant stuff by Ryan right around the outside. He's on mediums compared to Seb's fresh hards as well, but a really good move, and we've seen side by side I think with Cam and Matt Tibbles. I'm sure that's what you were on board with, Mike.
I was initially on board with Mashiro looking at the back of Alonso down into turn 1, and I flicked on to Cam and Matt Tibbles. Cam making the move, getting himself up into 7th ahead of Matt Tibbles here. So a good move there from Cam.
And F1MG's run on the back as well. Volakongan out on track, tries to dive it down the inside. Oh, nearly close into the back. Bissell as well, and Alonso completely messing up his braking point as well. Luckily, no contact made, and Mashiro now on the outside line, trying and get this move done. Down the hill and towards Spoon. But Mashiro is going to hang on for P13 for now. Alonso on P12. Gary, look, out in front. Those softs don't look like they're quite going away just yet. He leads by 1.2 seconds, and he's pulling away from J. Cole, which is quite surprising.
Yeah, as we got Cam on the back of Cobra here, right tapped it in underneath that rear wing, looking down the inside into the Casio triangle.
Brilliant.
Yes, it done. Cam on a move, and yeah, just speaking on Gary, he's had a fair few free laps, I would say, on those softs, so he can extend them that little bit further before they actually drop off. But
side by side, F1MG, Volakongan down in towards turn 1. Ryan complete the move by the way. Mashiro and round the outside goes F1MG, trying to go on Volakongan. They both made slight contact, but he's through. F1MG round the outside. Turn 2 seems to be the most favourable position. Out on track for overtaking. F1MG is just cracking Volakongan around the outside, and he's through. He's up into 9th. And Jacob's Crackers will be very happy, I think, with that. Oh, Alonso running wide as well through Dunlop Curve.
Yep,
oh,
fantastic.
Sorry, Zwadema is going around the outside of Techno 1 on Ace Noisy. Sorry they got in, there's so much going on. Zwadema around the outside gets the move done on Ace Noisy. So around the outside, slight bit of contact. He had the car ahead though, Zwadema, and Zwadema through around the outside of Techno 2 of all places. He's soon up into 17th. Brilliant stuff. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Ryan, Cam and Zwadema using the mediums, good effect, the fresher mediums to those around, and yeah, at the moment, Gary, he's holding that gap, but you see J. Cole is just starting to reel Gary.
Oh, somebody cut in. Johansson blocking off Cam. Cam trying to go around the outside in towards the Casio triangle. Not quite. There's so much going on in behind as well. Missile trying to send a missile down the inside. Trying to get a bad pun there. That didn't work. Volokongan through, and he's still in 10th position. Missile and Cam on the back of Johansson side by side. Goodness me, there's so much going on. We need to take gravity here. Cam is through on Johansson, down the inside and towards turn 1. Missile trying to get onto the back of Volokongan, and Ryan right on the back of Alonso as well.
Yeah, Ryan tried to switch back there in turn 1. Tried to take the tighter inside line. Didn't work out for him, and Alonso holds on to P12 for the time being, but Ryan looks like he's a man on a mission right now. Try and get as far up the order as he possibly can. But there's been so much action on this restart over the past few laps. It's hard to keep up with it all.
Yeah, Alonso's just got to tidy his line up coming through Dunlop Curve, getting round wide, and Ryan now trying to get that move for 12th position done. And of course, point system, the extended point system out on track. As Svedema closes up right onto the back of Nathan, actually, down the inside he went, down into the hairpin, didn't complete the move though. All of the points available, there's a minimum of 2 points available to anybody that finishes now out on track. And Gary is leading, he's just beginning to be reached in by J. Cole, 6/10 of a second. I think now Gary is going to have to think about going onto a set of mediums. 17 laps on a set of mediums though, seems quite heavy to me though.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gary...
I'm sorry to do this. Ryan's going to run the outside of Alonso. Alonso's completely messed up the braking point. Ryan will try to switch back at the final corner. And now Ryan has got the move done. Alonso is absolutely all over the place. That car is so unstable. Mashiro now going side by side with him down the straight. And Mashiro is now through. And he's up into 13th position. And Callboy is through on Johansson. And he's through he's up into 6th. Didn't see that move. And Mashiro is round. Mashiro is round. He tried to go down the inside of Ryan. He is round. He recovers the car well. But that set him back. And the championship leader is now potentially in big trouble.
Yep, and Seb would have seen that. He would have had a front seat view for that instant, and he would have been thanking the racing gods for that one.
Yeah, but look what this has done. I mean, Seb Svedema are only a few positions ahead of Mashiro out on track. Seb is 14th, Svedema 16th, Mashiro and 18th out on track. Tom is now frantically going to be changing what he had set up for the midpoint of the race, live standings, I think, as a result. Lead battle, by the way, now 4/10 of a second. Gary getting closed down all the way by J. Cole. J. Cole will just sit in behind. Suelo looks up for this, and now he uses a tiny bit of overtake load up the hill. But that car on merit looks quite quick, running down towards 130R. Cam as well on the back of Vettel. He's got no ERS left. Purple in the middle sector. Is he going to try and dive it down the inside of the Casio Triangle? He does. And Vettel lets him through. Cam is through and he's up into 4th, I think. Both of them in the same party there. Tries really to get that. Gary is into the pit lane. And F1AMG's all over the back of Matt Tibos, running down in towards turn 1. This is F1AMG's chance now to try and get Matt Tibos on the run down towards turn 1. He will be forced around the outside line. He's done it once before. Can he do it again? Around the outside of turn 1. No, Matt Tibos is there. Defends the line really well on the inside. And he's through still. And he's in 7th.
Yep, and as predicted, Gary on the set of the mediums comes out about 7.5 seconds behind Mashiro there. So he's got some clear air to push into there. There's Gary, and the question is, how quickly can he catch up to these guys?
Well, surely you would think he's going to be about 8-9 tenths quicker per lap. I would think the Mashiro ahead of him, and of Ace Noisy, and all of these guys now are stuck within that train. Mashiro, by the way, was 3.2 seconds behind when he caught that spin. He's in clear air purely. He's 2.3 seconds behind now. He's now 2 seconds behind. Mashiro is absolutely eating into the advantage. He's like a chompy crocodile out on track. Yeah, prepare yourself for some of these puns, honestly. So Derma on the back of Nathan running through Spoon. 14th and 15th though out on track. And F1AMG right on the back of Matt Tibos running down in towards 130R. Can he think about getting the move done? Pulls to the inside line and gets the move done. Forced Matt Tibos nearly off track there, but that's the camera of the corner. F1AMG's through and he's up into 7th. Miss Hill launching it down the inside as well of Volokongan. I go forward with Ryan by mistake, but he's got the move done actually. And then now forces Ryan possibly to get the move on both of them. We could potentially see a 3 wide scenario running down the straight. It'll certainly be 2 wide as now Ryan comes now at Missile. Trying to go around the outside goes Ryan. Through turn 1, nearly chomps him up, but what a move by Ryan. Inches apart from contact, Ryan through and he's up into 9th. Some brilliant overtaking and some great racecraft out on track tonight.
Yep, and Ryan, I mean, as we said earlier, he is a man on a mission right now, really using the advantage that he's got on those mediums compared to the guys behind. The only issue is at the moment is that with everyone in this bunched up together, it's going to make it tricky for the likes of Ryan to pull out a big enough gap over the likes of Seb and Nathan behind, to the point where he's going to make those mediums work before they fall off.
All of this spans as well from Johansson in 6th position. I'm all with everyone F1 AMG, who's just in behind him out on track. Cam, by the way, is also a man on a mission, and now he uses it to try and go around the outside of 130R. This will be a really unpromising move. If he can pull this one off, I'll give him a 5, and he does! Round the outside of 130R. Promise is a promise. I might have to send it that way. Cam is through, and he's up into 2nd. Round the outside of 130R. Absolutely sublime. Ryan now into the outside of the Casio triangle. Gets the move done, and Matt Tibos. Absolutely unreal racing. I said it might be a race of the season candidate. I didn't really mean it.
Well, right now it looks like Alonso might have sorted out a few of his shakiness in the opening laps, because he has been closing up to the back of Volokongan. Seb not really making a move, and he's not really taking a huge advantage over the fact that Mashiro made that mistake and went around.
Yeah, Mashiro is 1.5 seconds off the back of Ace Norris. He's just latching onto the back of this queue that spans all the way from Ryan downwards, basically. Johansson possibly downwards, and Corboy getting caught as well by Johansson out on track. Ryan, though, the big chief gainer out of this. Positions gained, by the way. Look at that. Most of the guys haven't pitted just yet in front, but Ryan has lost 3 positions off the start. It's not really reflective of his performance, I think, so far, because he's absolutely mulling his way through the field out on track. It's been fantastic to watch. F1 AMG now closing up on the back of Johansson, running down in towards Spoon once again through 13 and then through 14. Johansson runs wide. This is F1 AMG's opportunity to try and get the move done on Johansson. Around the outside of 130R, might be lining up for, but Johansson pulls away. He's up a little bit of that overtake mode. He's hardly got any ERS left out on track. And when we talk about ERS, of course, it's the energy recovery system. And in layman's terms, basically, when you brake into a corner, you save the ERS. When you go out of a corner, you lose it. Simple as that.
Absolutely, as well said. He is doing everything he can to try and get onto the back of Alonso to get into a position to make a move, but he just can't get close enough out of the Casino triangle.
Oh, Missile lagging off track slightly, trying to go around the outside of Matt Tibos. And now Volokongan's into play as well, and Volokongan through when he's up into 10th. Missile just losing 2 positions there, Matt Tibos and Volokongan. Sorry to cut in, Mike.
No, I was just going to say, Seb just can't get close enough at those crucial corners to make a move. He is just being held hostage behind Alonso here.
And Alonso's going to try and look for the move down in towards Degner 1. Doesn't quite get the move done. Somebody that is looking for a move, though, is Cam, right on the back of J. Cole for the lead of this race. I really hope Tom is keeping up with these camera angles, by the way. Out on track, there's so much going on. And F1 MG down the inside of Johansson. They're trying to go around the outside. We've got Nathan and Zwadema further down the field. There's about 4 battles going on out on track, which we're trying to keep up with. Johansson holds the position, though, for 6th.
Yeah, but Nathan holds the position over Zwadema and stays in 14th.
Absolutely mad race, honestly. The amount of overtaking that we're seeing is why we love. Yeah, we're on board with Cam on the back of J. Cole. Not going to go for the move, though. If I was Cam, though, I'd be saving up that ERS. He's got 2 lap fresher tyres than J. Cole. I would maybe try and go undercut.
Nathan's going to get a move. Oh, no. Nathan there, really trying to look at the back of Seb. And it's all kicking off here on lap 16.
It really is. Cam not going down the inside there, but Zwadema's on the back of Nathan, pretty much running, bump drafting him, running down the straight. Look at the amount of cars that are spanning through my camera angle. Certainly in Zwadema, the eye of the needle down the inside. He tries to go for the move and he gets caught up. He shouldn't have went for the move, I think. Nathan was always going to have the position. And Zwadema, although the gap formed, the natural racing line is on the outside, coming through the inside in towards turn 2. Zwadema caught up, and look what's just happened. Mashiro has overtaken him out on track, and Mashiro's got himself now onto the back of this big queue that spans all the way up to Corboy in 5th.
Yeah, and obviously Zwadema, it was a bit of a silly move to go for there from Zwadema, and I can understand that, you know, the gap was there, but sometimes you got really
side by side.
risks against the rewards.
Johansson trying to go around the outside of Callboy. Sorry to cut in again. I thought he was going to go around the outside there. Callboy really losing his tyre life. But look at this. Lap 16 out of 27. And they're on 15, 16 lap all tyres. When are these guys going to pit in?
I think they're going to be trying to take these mediums an extra lap or two. We may be seeing them come into the pits soon as J. Cole is actually into the pits.
Yep, J. Cole in from the lead of the race. He'll go on, I would imagine, for a set of softs. 10 laps, 11 laps on a set of softs can and will work around this track, so I wouldn't be surprised if he puts on the red wall tyre out on track, and exactly what I said has just came true. We'll look on board though as Volokongan is under attack from Missile. Down the inside he goes. Volokongan though holding on to the position. Missile still there on the inside. Volokongan is through and he's into 8th position though. Around the outside of Missile he goes through turns 1 and 2. Mashiro now. J. Cole out of the pit lane. Callboy out of the pit lane. Did Callboy came in behind J. Cole, didn't he? I think he did.
Yes, Callboy came in behind J. Cole. Well, that's done. It has released the likes of F1 AMG and Johansson, and more crucially, has given Ryan a bit of hope. All he's got to do is try and get past the racing point and up ahead, who is now out of DRS range of F1 AMG, so that should make things a little bit easier for Ryan. And he's got a nice 5.8 second bit of clear rate to push it to.
Yeah, he's got F1 MG ahead of him, but Johansson in 5th, Ryan in 6th. My concern is, though, the tyres for Ryan. He will have to pit in, certainly. I think onto a set of softs, and I think he should try and pit in sooner rather than later. When these guys pit in, he should pit in. As he now goes around the outside in towards 130, oh, nearly gets forced onto the grass by Johansson, but brilliant again from Ryan. Round the outside, absolutely excelling out on track, if you pardon the pun. He is through now, he's up into 5th. Cam is into the pit lane, swaying. Vettel continues, as does F1 AMG, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Ryan as well, continuing on. And Matt Tebboss has picked up a 5-second penalty for speed into the pit lane as Cam will come out unprofessional and soft. And what are you seeing, Mike? Because there's so much going on, I can't keep up.
No, I just noticed Sway is on a fresh set of mediums. He's got medium.
Oh no. Has he? Or did he put in earlier on? No, it's his it's his only stop. He selected the wrong tyres, hasn't he? It's as simple as that.
He has.
Oh, that's absolutely disastrous. From his 3rd place last week in Singapore, you've got to feel for the lad. You have really got to feel for him in this scenario. He has probably realised what's happened. And, do you know what? He could go on that set of mediums towards the final 2 laps, then pit in for fastest lap attempt. That's the only way he can try and salvage something out of this race, I think.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Sway. It was looking so good for him as well. You hate to see it. Now we got Seb, who's behind his teammate right now, and the question is, for the sake of the Drivers' Championship, do you think his brand new teammate of Missile will move over and last Seb through?
I don't think he'll know who Seb is, to be honest, with him being a new driver in the league. He's probably done his homework as Missile, but I think Seb is probably going to get freed up very soon indeed from Missile, or is he going to try and get the overtake done then towards turn 1? We'll find out. Ryan now leads. Volokongan is continuing on in 2nd. Missile is going to try and come from a mile back down towards turn 1, but Volokongan 2nd, Missile 3rd. Missile's really impressing me though out on track. His driving 1-to-1 might not be the refined article, but he's really defending well now in this really tricky part of the race. Nathan as well, right on the back of Alonso in behind. Cam, by the way, in all of that, did get past J. Cole. We missed that completely. So Cam is through on J. Cole. He's up into 11th and is now the leading soft runner out on track. And the gap between himself and Ryan is 10.5 seconds. Easily advantageous if, but only if, these guys make mistakes and there's a safety car perhaps.
Yeah, and what we got right now, we got a big battle starting to brew between Zradema and Mashiro for P8 on track, as Zradema needs to get the move done sooner rather than later, because the longer we go into this race, the more the hard tyres will come into play and advantage will swing towards Mashiro.
I'd imagine him and Ryan will have to come in because they're both on the same strategy. 12 lap old mediums, they came in under that second safety car, and both of them will have to come into the pit lane. I cannot see those tyres getting to the end. If they do, then good, then great stuff from them. If they can't, then I wouldn't be surprised either. Missile picked up a 3-second time, but the Ace Noisy's right on the back of Nathan, running out the final corner as well. We saw an overtake, I think, from Vettel on Sway. He's up into 13th. Ace Noisy, nobody though, looking to try and get the move done. Cam, new fastest lap of the race, 1:28.299.
Fantastic stuff there from Cam, as we've got Ace all over the back of the Williams of Nathan. We go through the S's.
Matt Tibos as well on your hands and down the inside, already cut in. He's through and he's up into 17th. And yeah, Seb right on the back of Missile coming through the S section as well. That battle though, still spanning from second, pretty much down to where Gary is in 10th. Yeah,
and Joe, you were speaking about Ryan's chances of...
Zwadema! Down the inside of Mashiro, absolutely dived it down the inside. He tried to go for the aggressive move down the inside. He didn't realise, I think, Mashiro was trying to look for the move on Nathan, I think, on Ace Noisy it was. And that's why there's contact being made into Zwadema. I think he was going to have to come into the pit lane anyways. Now finds himself down a couple of positions behind Gary and behind Cam. And that's big for the championship. Mashiro's in 8th, Seb in 4th. Seb is gaining on Mashiro in terms of the championship standings, but Mashiro's pulling away and Seb is pulling away crucially from Zwadema as well.
Yeah, this race is a crucial one for Zwadema, but as I was just speaking before the Zwadema dive of dreams happened, I was just wondering, like, we were speaking about Ryan wondering if he could take those tyres to the end. We got to remember that Volokongan and Misili both pitted under the first safety car, and they're looking to try and take their tyres to the end.
I think the only thing that's going to work in Ryan's advantage is that safety car has probably dropped off about 3-4%, maybe on the tyres out on track. He can make it, but it's going to have to be really careful tyre management. As I say, I think we got 22-23 laps in on a set of hard compounder tyres in Division 1, and they punctured onto a set of hards. On a set of mediums, might not be the case, but you'll have to wait and see, and just sit, watch. Basically, look at the amount of cars, I may just add, on that mini-map, spanning from 2nd all the way to 9th, 10th, 11th. J-Call now even latching onto the back of that as well. And I'm just going to tune in with Tom on Discord to see if we've got any live standings that are at hand, and hopefully we do have live standings.
Seb through past his teammate, now up into 3rd. And if anyone's going to be able to take this win away from Ryan, if he can take those tyres to the end, it's going to be Seb.
Yeah, Missile under attack as well from Alonso. Both on the relatively same strategy, and now Nathan not going to make a 3 wide, is he? He switches to the inside, and Missile moves across on him. Missile moves across on him, and again moves across on him, and there's contact, and Ace Noisy's being caught up, Mashiro's caught up, and it's absolute carnage, spanning from one silly mistake out on track, one driver moving across on a line, unsettles everyone in behind, and Missile now has probably got the stewards right on his case, as Nathan is now under attack from Vettel, and Vettel through, and he's up into 12th.
Yeah. It's unfortunate to see. I wasn't on board with the freeway battle. I didn't really get a good view of it. I was looking at it from a terrible broadcast angle there, but...
Oh, Cam! Cam into the back of Gary around the hairpin! Trying to go around the outside he was, Cam, and I think Gary just moved across on him, and now Cam doesn't have any damage, luckily I don't think, on that car, but more contact out on track. All of these guys, with 6 laps to go, 5.5, just under, nearly 5 laps to go in fact, they've got to be really careful. They do not want the stewards on their case, because the stewards will probably be busy enough as it is already, with 2 safety cars being progressed. Seb's right on the back of Volokongan. If he tries to look and get this move done, Seb will be, if I'm not mistaken, on 170 points out on track if he tries to get this move done. Mashiro, 201 points, has now been updated as a result of that. Seb, though, down the inside, down the straight, down in towards Sermon. That is how you get a move done down in towards Sermon. Missile take note. Seb through and he's up into 2nd. A missile's in.
And missile into the pits, and now this is
F1
going to
MG!
be...
Sorry, absolutely lunging around the outside. Brilliant overspeed through the corner, and F1 AMG streaming up into 14. Sorry to cut in.
I was just going to say this is crucial now for Ryan. He not only has to worry about his tyres, he needs to worry about that gap between him and Seb now starting to close down in the final 4 laps.
Who did I say, by the way, you could be the one to watch out for after the first safety car? Bolakongan. Look where he is. Thank you.
You should put the lottery on.
That's
what your predictions recently.
That's what Kieran kept saying to me on Division 1 when I kept getting everything right then. Honestly, I'm like Mr. James now in this commentary box out on track. Ryan's just beginning to edge away though. Through that middle sector is where he really tries to excel, again, pardon the pun, out on track. He leads by 2 seconds, and Seb from OSRL last night, of course. J. Cole closing under a demo. I think it's job done for J. Cole down the inside as I mistakenly went on board with another driver there, but J. Cole through, and he's up into 9th, and that was simple from the set of softs, from the set of mediums, and Matt Tibos is through on Callboy, trying to go around the outside. Matt Tibos is back through. I think Callboy trying to get the move done off track, let him back through, and now he's going to have a crack at the cherry. Sway is into the pit lane, realising the mistake, and he'll go for a set of soft compound tyres towards the end of the race, and now here comes Callboy, right on the back of Matt Tibos. The Irishman is going to try and lunge this around the outside, 2 of the fairest competitors on the grid. Matt Tibos on the inside line, defends the position brilliantly, and that's why we have them both in the league. Great racing like that. Matt Tibos holds on to the position for 14th. Yellow flag in sector 1. F1 MG. And he's lost that coming through turn 5 and 6. Just on the grass coming through turn 4. Then on the exit of turn 5. And that's a 10-second time penalty. That needs removing. Surely. 10-second time penalty for that. Absolutely unbelievable. And out on track, I thought he had a puncture, but he hasn't. If he continues on, he's still going to get points. That's the thing. He can still come in and try and grab a faster stop off Sway. That's what he's got to think. 10-second time penalty, I think, will inevitably be removed. But think of it this way: fastest lap point still available. If he's listening in, do it.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, that 10-second time penalty is ridiculous. But as we reset now, as we come to the end of lap 24, about to start lap 25. The gap's down to 1.5 seconds. Ryan's going to be feeling the yellow flag.
F1 MG again.
Ryan's going to be feeling the pressure now. Not only from Seb, but the pressure of any moment his tyres could go pop.
Look at how he's slowing down as well, coming through this first sector. If there's any tyre that is going to go, it'll be the rear left. The rear left takes the most hit around on this track, and those are the tyres that went coming in through the final couple of laps in Japan. Watch out for Volakonga and Alonso. Do not be surprised if their tyres pop. If they haven't managed their tyres well, do not be surprised if their tyres pop either, because they are in the same territory that people did in Division 1, and the F1 MG is retired into the pit lane, and Alonso into the back of Volakongan. Alonso into the back of Volakongan, old carnage kicking off as well as Ace Noisy now tries to get through on Alonso, and he has, and now Mashiro getting caught up in a bit of contact. He loses the position to Gary. Gary ran the outside of him, and Mashiro has to just back off that, but look, 22 lap, all tyres, Gary's into the back of Alonso, it's all kicking off once again. Cam now on the fresh set of softs is right into play once again. He could possibly make this 3 wide down in towards 130 yards, certainly going to be 2 wide as Mashiro goes on the outside line of Gary, but he's through. Mashiro surely is through, yeah, job done, he's through and he's up into 6th. Cam around the outside of Gary now, trying to get the move done. Alonso's right on the back of Ace Noisy, Cam is through on Gary, and he's through and he's up into 7th. 2 laps to go.
Gary with wing damage now, Gary with wing damage.
And he's going to have to continue on. Look at Cam running out wide through the final corner. That dirty air really flowing him off. And now Gary to the outside line. Coming down towards turn 1. Has the Irishman got the legs? He's got the car ahead. Will Cam back off? No. They make contact slightly. Cam runs out wide. This is going to let J. Cole into play. J. Cole get both of them coming out the S section. But no. Cam is still in 7th. J. Cole in 8th. Gary in 9th. Zwadema's back into this as well. Vettel catching. Not all over and done with just yet. And Tom, if you've got that top 3 graphic prepared, scrap it. Simple as that. Swadema's down the inside of Gary, coming through Dunlop curve. Brilliant move by Swadema through on 19 lap old mediums. He's through and he's up into 9th.
Well, right now, Mashiro, all he's got to do is get past Alonso, and he's looking at a podium as long as...
down the inside of Gary, gets the move done. He's through and he's into 10th.
Yeah, Mashiro, all he needs to do is get past Alonso, and he's looking at 3rd because Volakonga and Noisy up ahead with time penalties.
That left rear is going to go at any stage for Ryan. That left rear is going to go. Look at it. Look at the blistering going through the middle of that tyre. We're right on board with it now. If that doesn't pop on the final lap, then I will give him, honestly, the biggest interview ever when he comes into the commentary box. He looks like he's going to be on for 1st and 2nd. These guys certainly look on to 1st and 2nd, but on to the final lap, the rest we go. Top 3 graphic for Tom certainly is looking out the window, and Ryan's win might be looking out the window as Seb tries to close down in towards turn 1. It's not close enough. It's Noisy though, is closing in on Volakongan. Volakongan is literally hanging on for dear life on those tyres. Cam has been overtaken by J. Cole and Vettel through onto Adema as well, both up to 7th and 9th. And look at Seb running back of Ryan.
Seb all over the back of Ryan, and this is going to be interesting now because for Ryan it's going to be crucial for him to get out of these traction zones as quickly as possible without spinning up the rears.
Seb is just going to have to be careful. If that tyre goes in front of him, Ryan will end up spinning off. It's as simple as that, especially at high speed. Seb right on the back of him though. He will have one opportunity, I think, into 130R to get the win of the race. He'll use the overtake mode up now, save it up, running down through Spoon, and then use it up once again, coming out of Spoon, down in towards 130R, and this will be a job done. Alonso right on the back as well of Ace Noisy. He's just been overtaken. Volakongan's tyres are still going. Yellow flag in sector 2 is Missile, who is round, but here comes Seb now, using up. Ryan has got enough overtake mode left, and he pulls away once again. 0.5 of a second is the gap. Out on track here in Japan. Alonso's right on the back of Ace Noisy trying to get the move done. We'll have to go on board with Ryan though as he comes around the final corner. That tyre is still hanging on for dear life, but Ryan all the way to the line. Seb closes up. Could be a photo finish. Ryan wins by 1/10 of a second. How close can you get? Alonso is into 3rd. Mashiva in the end 4th. Ahead of J. Cole. So much in terms of penalties. Goodness me, I don't care if I voice crack all over the shop, but goodness me, what a race. Callboy 13, Matt Tibbles down into 14th, Johansson up to 14th now, Sway round in the final couple of corners. We'll see who's got fastest lap as well. Fastest lap goes to Sway, 27.6, Missile down there in 17th position. Oh, what a race. Japan living up to expectations, and it is Ryan who absolutely drives the socks off that car. Tyre strategy comes into play. He wins. Alonso is awarded driver of the day as well. And there is Ryan to the top step of the podium. And my God, Mike, what a race.
That was unbelievable. The early safety cars throwing a mix of strategies up in the air. And of course we had battles up and down the field. There was too much to keep an eye on. We needed more commentators in this race.
I think we needed Tom with a 3rd camera, honestly. That was absolutely brilliant. And full credit must go to our Division 2 drivers out on track. But that is the closest finish of the season so far. Another lap. If that start-finish line was down where P1 is, where it stands, Seb would have won. No doubt about it. Seb would have won. Ryan though wins from Seb in 2nd. Alonso in 3rd. No penalties picked up from 17th on the grid. Really good performance from him with Mashiro in 4th. Championship leader maintains that championship lead after an absolute disastrous race from his perspective. J. Cole in 5th with Vettel in 6th. Noisy 7th. Zwadema in 8th. Look at the top 8 covered by 5.6 seconds. Volakongan in 9th. Cam in 10th. Gary in 11th. Nathan 12th. Callboy 13th. Johansson 14th. Matt Tibbles in 15th. Sway picking up the fastest lap points in 16th. Missile finishing in 17th. F1MG is classified, but he retired in the pit lane, doesn't pick up any points. Trippy Jeff and Tionas both causing safety cars, both out of the race early on. And I hope Mike is now getting the top 3 in for their interviews. My goodness me. What an absolute treat you've been treated to. If that was the final race of every league race here in TTML of 2020, then we would live up to expectations. Punctures galore. in terms of Division 1 and a Race of the Season candidate in Division 2. Absolutely brilliant. I'm afraid to say I don't think Division 3 got live in the end, but that was terrifying, Ryan says. It was. But there's the top 3 graphic. Ryan winning, Seb in second, and Alonso finishing in P3 out on track. I think these guys, honestly, the amount of people that are still here want to go again around there in Japan. Absolutely brilliant. And I'm sure we will get the top...
3%, he says.
3%. 83%.
Yep.
I was going to say, if he was on 3% tyres, then must be a glitch in the game. Oh... Absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely brilliant. And we're just waiting now on the top 3 to get invited into our commentary position. And we will get interviews with them very shortly indeed. And I'm sure when Ryan gets here, there'll be a massive standing ovation, I think, for that drive from him. Absolutely timed it to perfection. Seb, if he had more ERS, he would have got him. It's as simple as that. And if the start-finish line was further down, it would have been simple as that. By the way, 746 subscribers now on League Racing TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've got 2 races to come for you in the new year, in 2021. Mexico and Abu Dhabi to come for the final 2 rounds of the season here for Season 2. Season 3, of course, will be coming very soon indeed afterwards. But what a race that was. And Mike, I'm sure you're busy getting the guys in for interviews, but who was your driver of the day?
I gotta give my driver of the day to Ryan. That was a fantastic drive to get those tyres to the end.
Oh, and I agree. Ryan, I think, gets driver of the day vote from both of us here tonight. Absolutely unbelievable drive. Seb, I think, as well. Absolutely unbelievable drive. And we are just waiting now. I've got Alonso in the party with us. We'll wait on Ryan. Oh, and Mike has left. Mike has left, which is not that great. He is, I'm not sure if he's accidentally left or if his internet is now cut out on him. But hopefully we'll still be able to get the other 2 in after that race. But Alonso, we'll come on to you first. Finishing in P3 from 17th on the grid. How on earth was that race for you?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It was quite crazy, to be honest. The start was a little bit difficult because Matt Tibbers, I think, disconnected like in the formation lap, and then he came back and his car was ghosting when the lights came on, and when the lights went out, suddenly his car was solid again for some reason, so I had to evade him. I had quite a poor launch because of that, and I don't know, I lost like a few positions, and then the safety car came out for some reason. I don't know, I think there was a crash or something. And I decided to pit for the hard tire to go to the end of the race. And yeah, and then the second safety car, obviously I gained quite a bit of positions, although the pace wasn't particularly good. At the start of the stint, at the end it was okay. And then I was on 2 warnings quite early on, so I had to be careful. And yeah, I had a few hairy moments on the way where I almost lost it. But yeah, somehow I came third. Quite lucky, to be honest, because on pace I shouldn't be P3, but yeah, it is what it is, I suppose.
It is what it is. I mean, honestly, that was race of the season candidate, certainly from our perspective in the commentary box. And we saw them hairy moments, by the way, especially coming through Dunlop Curve. Did you have a good balanced setup, did you feel, on that car?
It was okay, I would say. It wasn't too twitchy on the rear, but I had to be cautious on the throttle, especially on traction out of like the hairpin or the last chicane. But after laps gone by, it was quite manageable, so yeah, I'd say it was okay. Probably not the fastest, but definitely decent, I'd say.
Consistent. I think consistent is definitely the word, out on track. And final question from myself. I think Mike will probably join us back, hopefully. P3 though, going into 2021, what are your hopes for the final 2 rounds of the season in both Mexico and in Abu Dhabi?
To get a better qualifying position, obviously. I think the last, I don't know how many races, but almost every race I start near the end because I somehow always choke the quality laps. Either I get invalidation or make a mistake, so it's probably better start near the front, because you cannot hope for a safety car like this or a mad race like we have just witnessed. So yeah, I need to improve qualifying. Obviously penalties aren't a big issue for me. I just must not make these stupid mistakes where I almost lose the car. And other than that, yeah.
New Year's resolution, I think, is for better qualifying.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't blame you. Hopefully we'll see you back to your brilliant best, of course, in 2021. Congratulations on the third. I'll go and let you enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And I believe we can now move on to the man who finished in second position, just a hair widths away in second position. It is Scuderia Seb. And Seb, if that start finish line didn't end there, you would have won. Simple as that. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, I know, that's... I won't be able to sleep tonight. Basically, I mean, I got a bad start. I went down to third, but then obviously the safety car came out. I pit for the second safety car because it made sense, but I just was struggling to come through the field. Obviously Ryan had more grip on the medium tyre, so he could like get through the field much better. And then I saw Mashiro spawn, and then yeah, I managed to get past a few cars, made some decent moves, and then yeah, I was just, my tyres were, I thought I was going to get a puncture as well, so I was being a little bit cautious, but I was still pushing to catch him. Then I finally caught him, but I had barely had any ERS because I was pushing to catch him, and then yeah, it's such a difficult place to overtake. There's no real opportunity. So yeah, and then I saw he got a puncture. I think he got a puncture just before the line. I thought he did, but he might not have. But yeah, and then yeah, just I was like 1/10 away. I was a little bit pissed off, but what can you do?
Sorry about his French, by the way, with that little swear word, but I'm sure we can't bleep that out now. But a really good race from your perspective. Did the safety cars help out on track?
Probably, yeah, because yes, I know, because it helped me jump Mishiro, because I think he had a little bit more pace than me. So, and if the safety cars didn't come out, he probably wouldn't have had that little spin. But I think it made the race a bit more complicated coming through the field, but I don't think it really made much of a difference to the end result, to be fair.
Yeah.
For me anyway.
Only a 1/10 of a second. That will not live you down for the rest of your sim racing life, honestly. A 1/10 of a second.
It's like the third time this year where I've missed out by under half a second. And
wow.
It's just depressing, really. It's horrible.
But coming on to the final question, obviously this being the final race of 2020, what are your hopes for 2021 going into that? Mexico and Abu Dhabi is still to come. Are you asking a New Year's resolution for a win next week?
Yes,
next month?
100%.
Next year even?
Win, yeah. I don't care how, I'd like a nice, boring race up front, no issues. Yeah, that's what I'd want.
That would be perfect. It won't be perfect for us in the commentary box, but be perfect for him as a driver, certainly. But go and let you enjoy your evening, Seb. I'm apologising on behalf of Mike. I don't know what happened to him, but go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, well, just like to say real quick, well done to Ryan to getting those mediums to the end. That was pretty insane, so fair play.
Really good drive. Go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah.
No worries at all. And with Mike, a non-existent party, it seems. I'm not sure if there might be NatApp issues between us both. We will end off here, and it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you throughout the entirety of 2020 on Division 2, here in Season 2 especially. And I'd just like to thank Tom Zaggers. You can find all of our Twitters, of course, in the description. If you do want to give us a follow and you do want to know who that commentary team is as well, you can have a look on Twitter, and you can also have a look within the description as well. I'm sure Ryan is too busy for an interview. He is probably still getting that alcoholic drink down him, I am sure. Big thanks to Tom, though, all of the work that he puts in terms of the graphics. Hopefully we might be back in 2021 with some new graphical inputs in terms of a potential system that we could be trying out, but that's all I'm going to say on that. And also to our commentary team. Our commentary team here is the best pretty much in the business, and I'd like to pay tribute to each and every one of you. If you are listening back into this, you are the heart and soul of TTML. There wouldn't be a league without us commentators, and there wouldn't be a league without us drivers, and it's been an absolute thrill to commentate on the entire Division 2 season so far in 2020, and we hope that you're going to enjoy it even more in 2021. And the final thing for me is stay safe in this crazy world that we all live in currently. So for myself, I'm Mike Edwards. Thank you so much for tuning in here to Division 2. We hope we provided you with the action to go away and put that smile on your face. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next year, goodbye.